welcome to 100% LCFC. This is a bit of a test recording to see how we're doing. We're just going to go through some of the latest manager odds and see who we all fancy. Straight in at number one, the bookie's favourite is Gus Hiddink at 6-5 at the moment with SKYBET, although reports on Radio Leicester this morning and from Dutch media were that he wouldn't fancy the manager's role. He had 68 coming on 69, so I can't see that he's going to fancy taking that role on, although he's the bookie's favourites. Perhaps it's going to go towards ex-Leicester legend, I would say Neil Lennon, who's at 15-8 currently with the bookies. Would he be everybody's favourite? He really, I mean, he's done well at Celtic, but that's in a two-horse race in a pretty easy league to do well in. If you're at Celtic or if you're at Rangers at the time, you were going to be one of the best two managers in that league. Since he's gone on, he looks good on telly, talks well on TV, he's a good pundit. But at Bolton, he steadied the ship there maybe and started to turn things around a little bit. But, you know, is he one of those managers who he's got no Premier League experience? Bound to be a gamble. I think that's a bit of a surprise. I think Neil Legend's great, but I do think that'll be a surprise if we put all our eggs in that basket. I'd be slightly concerned if we'd swapped Nigel Pearson for an up-and-coming manager like Neil Lennon. Third with the bookies at the moment is a lot of people's favourite, but would he come to Leicester? Jurgen Klopp, formerly the manager at Dortmund. He's a bit of a maverick. He's had great proven track record. He's currently at 9-2 with SKYBET. Lots of fans from other teams are scoffing and laughing and saying he'll never come to Leicester. But hey, why not? We would fancy him. We would love to have him. Probably as a top three manager. He would be the thing that would excite most people because he's of the age of the coach, and for his excitement, his eccentricity, he really would be one who I think would take us on to the next level and suddenly put a stamp on Leicester City to be, you know, potentially pushing for a European place. Fourth place with the bookies at the moment, Steve Cotterill. Really don't think that's the manager for Leicester. He's at 5-1 at the moment. Lots of fans are saying that they don't fancy the look of him. He's obviously a good coach and a younger coach, but I don't think in the position we're in, we need to take a gamble on somebody like that. I think we need stability. We need somebody who's been there, seen there and done it. I think Steve Cotterill, a little bit like Neil Lennon, you know, the jury's out whether they've done it or not. And maybe they need to prove themselves at championship level first before, or bring a team up from the championship to see if they're going to have any decent ways of managing in the Premier League. Saying that, if we were to get Neil Lennon in particular, I'm sure we'd all back him and give him every chance to succeed. Steve Cotterill, I'm not sure that would go down so well with the fans. Fifth place, what a legend, Martin O'Neill. Surely at 6-1, a lot of fans would like to have Martin O'Neill back. He had a great time with Leicester, probably our most successful manager ever. For those of you who aren't old enough to remember him, it really was the glory days of Leicester City. For me, if he comes back, fantastic, you know, welcome him back, and that'd be brilliant. But you do wonder, you know, Martin, don't ruin the legacy that you had. We saw what happened with Stuart Pearce last season at Nottingham Forest, a former legend who'd done everything he could do for Nottingham Forest, turned sour very, very quickly for Stuart Pearce there at Forest. And nobody would want that to happen for Martin O'Neill. Nobody would want him to come back and have a second spell at Leicester and for it not to work out, and for him to be the manager that, you know, maybe worst case scenario got us relegated, or we had a really bad season with him. So I'm not sure whether we would want to ruin what a great thing we've had with Martin O'Neill there. Maybe you have to leave things alone. But saying that, if he comes in, good luck. We'd all be very excited. And he has proven that he is a great manager. Not been quite as effective without John Robertson, and Walford is sort of sidekick assistants. But that would be really interesting to see if Martin would come back to Leicester City. Sixth up, Claudio Ranieri, the famous Italian guy who's managed at several clubs now, came in at Chelsea, and you know, again, one of those managers who can't really fault their career over the last 10 years. He's had a good set of results at different European levels, managed in the top 6-7 clubs of various different leagues. Not a manager that particularly excites me, but he has got pretty good experience and is one of those. I think the owners, the Thai owners, are looking for a manager who has got some sort of name within the game, within the world, and Claudio Ranieri fits that. As does, in at number 7 is Roberto Di Matteo, 20-1. So we're starting to get down into those lower odds. You would think 9 days after the sacking of Nigel Pearson that we really would be close to having a manager. So I think the next set of managers who are in at these 20-1 odds and higher probably are on the peripheries. Harry Redknapp, I can't see that 25-1. His name's going to get linked with every manager's role, but again, he's cracking on in years. You know, he'd probably come and do a decent job, and fans would know that he's done it at other clubs and had good seasons. It's in particular at Portsmouth when he was there. He was attracting good players and wheels and deals, as we all know. So he wouldn't be the worst choice for us. Jurgen Klinsmann, a surprise at 25-1. Again, a big name in world football, but I can't see that. 25-1 also is Cambiasso. Now, we're all hoping that he's going to stay on and sign another one-year contract. As far as I'm aware, he doesn't have his manager's badges, his coach's badges. So I think by rights, he can't actually take the team on as a manager. Could be involved in some sort of structure as a coaching role, just as Kevin Phillips is. I was interested to see that the first team reported back for training yesterday, and Kevin Phillips was taking that and putting them through the paces with lots of running exercises, a bit of ball work yesterday afternoon. So maybe Cambiasso will follow Kevin Phillips and become one of the coaches at Leicester. Certainly seems to be on his radar to go down that road. I'm sure one day he will be a manager of a top club, Cambiasso. 25-1, Sam Allardyce. He was favourite about 5 or 6 days ago. He was in the top 2 or 3 managers. He's now at 25-1. I think he's distanced himself from the job. For me, he would be a good manager. He's probably one of the most sensible managers that we could take on. He would steady the ship. He does deliver a top half finish for most Premier League sides that he's been manager of. So for me, at 25-1, I think he's out the running now, but I think he could have been a manager that could have took us on to the next level. We got Sean Dyche next at 25-1. Could we put up with that voice like he's had 40 fags every day? For me, no. That's got me going. David Moyes is 25-1. Again, he's over at, I believe, Valencia in Spain and doing all right. I can't see him leaving there. He's only been there 6 months. And then we come into some periphery ones like Alex McLeish, Patrick Vieira, Paul Lambert, who didn't have a great time at Villa, although he did do well at Norwich. I don't fancy any of those 3. Michael Laudrup, 33-1, did a great job at Swansea. Seems to be out of the running. And then in at 100-1, Nigel Pearson. Is there any chance he's going to come back for a 3rd, 4th time? This must be. He was basically sacked early this season, as we all know. I can't see him coming back now. I think surely it's not. That'd be the biggest U-turn ever. So that's the latest odds as it stands today. Tuesday about 12 o'clock. We'll see. By 4 o'clock today, it could all change. I'd be expecting manager to be announced by Wednesday or Thursday this week. They really need to get a wiggle on, if you ask me, because we could be signing players, or we have been signing players, saying that. So obviously John Rudkin, the director of football, has been signing players. But for me, we need to get that manager in place, get him in quickly, certainly this week. I'd like to see by Wednesday, if not Thursday this week. So from 100% LCFC, that's it for now. Latest odds. We'll be back with you very shortly. Cheers.